everyone, it's Lizzie and welcome back to my channel. This is the first paycheck of July and I'm going to be walking you guys through this. Just keep in mind that as of the beginning of this year, because my husband has now become self-employed, we have come to an agreement that we're not sharing our income and also our tithing because he now works for himself and we're a sole income household now. So just keep that in mind, but I will be breaking down our budget after we set aside tithe and all of that. So this is the balance that we are currently working with, $1,282. And then on my budget worksheets, I always talk about trying to live within percentages. I want you to consider something. If you are able to figure out these percentages for your paycheck budget or your monthly budget, you are able to see, well, what could you possibly cut? Now, keep in mind, not every budget system works for everyone. It's totally understandable, but you can kind of play with it, tweak what I'm about to suggest. So Jordan Page is the one that she says, try to aim to live within 70% of what your income is. If you're in debt or if you have low income and lots of expenses, then try to bump that up to 80%. We did this for quite a while and we were able to pay off our debt, to save for an emergency fund, and it just really helped us balance out how we are supposed to break down our variable expenses. So I just really hope that you get a takeaway from this part and it's impactful to you because it truly works if you work it. But again, this may not work for everyone and I totally get it. This is just what works for us. So we break down our budget into 3 different categories: our expenses, our goal, and tithe. So 10% of our income, what that was, we had given it to our church. And then anything above that, we call it an offering. Or in this case, we're calling it a blessing. For this, we are going to be setting aside $70 for the blessing. So I'm just going to carry this down because we had already budgeted for the tithe. So I'm just going to put a little line there. And then you take the income and subtract the offering amount, and you're left with $12.12. Now we get into the expenses. This is for the fixed expenses, those items that come out of the checking account, and we have already calculated what we're going to be setting aside in my bill tracker. So let me pull that up right here. I'm actually going to flip to it. So this is my July bill tracker, and as you can see, we have the total amount here. I've divided up how much we are going to be setting aside for that bill from the payday. And so the highlighted numbers here that you see is when we have to have that bill fully funded in our account, because in a couple days or on that particular day, that bill is due. So we need to make sure that we have the allocated funds to pay that bill. So since it is the 7th, what I did, I'm just going to go down this column right here and we're going to set aside these specific dollar amounts for these bills. So only the ones that are written in are the ones that we are going to write in for our paycheck budget. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We are going to add this up. Right, $737.98. I always like to double check my math because sometimes my fingers just like don't work right. So that looks good. And now we take the remaining amount here, the $12.12, and we subtract this amount here. That leaves us with $474.02. With the percentage formula, what you would do is based on the number that you had written here on the expense amount, you will take that number and you would subtract what you wrote here for the expenses, and that gives you an idea of how close you are to be within that percentage that you had written in. If it was 80% or if it's a 70% or 85%, whatever the case is, I think this is a great starting point, because I always had an issue when I was creating our budget. I didn't know, well, how much, after paying the bills, like how much should I really be applying to these different variable expenses? And so with the percentage formula, that's why I love it so much, is because it kind of gives you that guide. So that way you can figure out, well, I want to be within this amount, so let's figure out how we can separate those funds into these particular categories. So that's why I like it. Again, it doesn't work for everyone, and that's totally fine. But if you're just curious, try it out and then let me know if you did try it in the comments. I would love to hear your feedback on this particular budgeting method. Okay, so these are the cash envelopes that we are taking out, except for my husband. So let me just highlight this, because this is not a cash envelope. We are just going to be transferring whatever this amount is into his account, because he does everything digital. It's easier for us. It works for us, so we're just going to stick to that. But the rest are going to be physical cash envelopes. So for eating out, we are budgeting $50 for this. $50 for my husband, $20 for gas. I had just filled my gas tank, so I should be good for a few weeks. And my husband, his car, he uses it for work, for his business. So that is a business expense. So that's why we don't include that in our personal budget anymore. That along with our tolls, because he takes the toll roads and I just stay at home. So we don't include that in our budget any longer because it's a business expense. Groceries, we're taking out $75. And then for my personal spending, I'm also getting $50. And then the miscellaneous is getting $10. So the total for the envelopes is $255. So if we take the remaining $474.02 and subtract the $255, we're left with $219.02. And now we get on to the sinking funds. And these are the sinking funds that we will be stuffing. It's all of them. So I added a couple. So let me actually... So we have beauty, car maintenance, we have Christmas, my husband's birthday, fun, we have gifts, my birthday, oh, I missed one. We have health, and then we have the pet. All right, so beauty is getting $10. Car maintenance is also getting $10. Christmas is getting $26. My husband's birthday is getting $10. Our fun envelope is getting $20, and what we consider fun, it's like if we want to go away for a weekend, any trips, any like vacations, we will just put it in this fun envelope for us to do what we wish with that. And it's been working for us. We used to separate different events like anniversary, vacation into the separate cash envelopes, but it had worked. But this just makes more sense because sometimes we would just steal out of, you know, the vacation for anniversary, and we're just like, you know what, let's just keep everything in the one fun and we can just decide what we want to do. So this is a continuous sinking funds. We will always be adding money to this account, and it is an online account, so it earns interest. Gifts is getting 10. Health is also getting 10. my birthday is getting 10, and then pet is getting $5. Okay, so let's see what this adds up to. So total sinking funds is $111. So we take the $219.02, what was remaining, and we subtract the $111. And that leaves us with $108.02. And this is where you can evaluate and say, okay, if you have debt, then put this towards debt. Or if you want to split and put something to debt, some to savings, then go ahead and do that. So we have 3 different categories or 3 different savings accounts that we want to apply the remaining of this amount into, because we are zero-based budgeters. So we give every single dollar a place to work and make the most of each dollar. So for this, we are going to fund some in our emergency fund because we did use some money from our emergency fund this year, and we want to replenish that to get it back up to that 3 to 6 months of our expenses saved. We also want to save for a down payment in our house, and I really want us to contribute to retirement because neither of us have corporate jobs, and we had 401ks with our corporate jobs. We had them rolled over into an investment brokerage account, but we haven't been contributing, and that's been like on my heart for so long. And any little bit that we can contribute is fine. I spoke to a representative, and they had said you can contribute however frequently you want to. So that's what we plan on doing, and I'm really excited because this is the first paycheck that we actually contribute to our retirement account. So it's awesome, even though it's not going to be a lot, but it's something. So $50 is going to our emergency fund, $50 is going to home, and then that $802 is going into the retirement. So we budgeted out the full $108.02, leaving the remaining balance at 0. And we don't have any debt, so we just leave that blank, but we had given every single one of these dollars a place to be. So let me just highlight the online accounts here that I know we're not going to be withdrawing funds for. So car maintenance is an online sinking fund. Christmas is, the birthday, fun, gifts, and then my birthday. So there's only 3 sinking funds here that we will be taking out, and then also this blessing. So now what we want to do is figure out, well, how much cash do we have to withdraw? So I'm going to add up these. So I'm going to take the $255 and just subtract the $50 because I'm not including that. And then I'm going to add in the $10 beauty, the $10 health, and the $5 pet, and also the $70 here for blessing. So $300 is what we will be withdrawing. So I'm just going to write that in on my teller slip here. I'm just going to write in the total amount is the $300. And now I want to break down the denominations for each category. So let me flip to this new cash breakdown worksheet that I have. And so what we're going to do is just mark off the items, the categories that we will be withdrawing. So we have the blessings is getting 70, eating out, that was getting 50, gas was getting 20, groceries is getting 75, I'm getting 50, and then we have the miscellaneous is getting 10. And then we have our sinking funds. So we have the beauty, the health, and then the pet, So beauty was getting $10, health was getting $10, and then pet is getting the $5. Let me just make sure that I did write in the correct amount. All right, perfect. All right, so what we're gonna do is just mark off the specific denominations we want for each of these categories. So this is new to me. I've never done this before, having it all on one sheet, but it's really nice. So for blessings, we're gonna do 150, 110, 15, and 5 ones. Eating out, we're gonna do 120, 2 10s, and then 2 5s. So that should be right, 20, 30, 40, 50, yep. A 20 for gas. And then for groceries, I think I'll do 50, 60, 70, and then 5 ones. For me, I'll do 2 20s and then 2 5s. Miscellaneous is just gonna get a 10. Beauty is gonna get a 10. Health is gonna get a 10. And then pet is gonna get a 5. So we have 2 50s. We have 2, 3, 4 20s. We have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 10s. And then we have 2, 4, 6, 8 5s. And then 10 ones. So hopefully I did this right. 70, 80, 100. All right, so let's add up the total amount at the bottom. 100 plus 80 plus 70 plus 40 plus 10. Perfect. All right, so I'm just going to transfer that over here to my teller slip. So we said that we wanted 10 ones, 8 5s, 7 10s, 4 20s, and 2 50s. All right, so I will head off to the bank tomorrow and make my withdrawal with these denominations. So if you like these teller slips, I do have teller slips, different worksheets, cash envelopes in my Etsy shop. I'll be sure to link it in the description box with a coupon code for you to save some money. And that is my paycheck budget, the first paycheck budget of July, and the cash breakdown. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions at all, and just know that budgeting does not have to be complicated. It just needs to make sense to you and your family. So I'll see you guys right here in the cash stuffing video. Be sure to be notified, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.